Welcome to another edition of the Pacers Pride Podcast. I am your host, Cody Emerson, and I don't have my 100% voice because I was at the game last night. But Dylan, I know you're the exact same way but in a different way though.
Yeah, but for a different reason. Purdue almost Purdue'd their own home victory, but we pulled out a last-second field goal against Iowa, which made me lose my voice because, well, it was a 25-yarder. It wasn't that much suspense on it, but still. It was a good game, and Ross Aid was very loud, and I had to contribute my part at least to it. So that's why my voice is gone.
Yeah, my voice is not 100% because I was at the Celtics game last night, and we're gonna get into that later. But yeah, that we're both a little hoarse, I guess, but for good reasons.
Yeah.
Pacers got the job done last night, and then obviously Purdue got it done against a ranked opponent.
Yeah,
again.
3-0 against top 25 teams.
Yeah, and what'd you say before the show? It's
where ranked teams go to die.
Yeah, Ohio State first, Boston College first, actually.
Yeah, Boston College was the first to get the bag.
Then, obviously, let's not talk about the Ohio State one. And then, obviously, Iowa. So, making a run, I guess. So,
yeah. We still got a shot in the Big Ten West.
Yeah, but we're going to dive into these past games the Pacers played this past week. First, they played host to the Portland Trailblazers, and this game, Pacers ended up losing 103-93. Really slow start from the Pacers. They only scored 16 points in the first quarter. Came back in the second quarter, made it a pretty good game, but then Portland in the second half just kind of dominated from there. Excuse me. What I found most intriguing about this game when I wasn't able to watch it, unfortunately, but actually probably fortunately because I probably would have been yelling and throwing stuff. But
probably
no, there's probably a good chance it would have happened. But Zach Collins off the bench had 17 points and 3 rebounds.
Biggie.
Yeah, I was about to work. I was wrong. I didn't expect him to get minutes in this game, but
he not only did he get minutes, he got a double-double in his minutes. So
yeah, the Portland bench just outperformed the Pacers bench by far, and that was the main difference in the game. Damian Lillard only had 16, C.J. McCollum had 17, so we kept those guys in check.
Nurkic only had 5, which I think is the biggest win of them all, because Miles Turner was playing very well defensively.
Yes, but unfortunately, the big difference, like we were talking about, was the bench. Like Caleb Swanigan had 11, Zach Collins had 17, Nick Stauskas had 10,
our old friend Evan Turner.
Evan Turner, who just likes to play well against the Pacers. I don't know why, but an Ohio State prodigy. So what can I say? But yeah, they dominated. All 5 Pacers starters scored in double figures, so that was good. But the bench,
bench just was not.
This was one of the rare games where the bench just did not come to play. Both T.J. Leaf, who he only had 4 minutes. So.
This is his first game back from injury, I believe.
Yeah, it was. Both he and Doug McDermott were held scoreless. They only took 2 shots. Or Doug McDermott took 2 shots. T.J. Leaf only took 1. Sabonis, in 24 minutes, surprisingly, only took 3 shots. I think credit to Portland defensively.
Yeah. But he managed to get 8 rebounds, which...
Yeah, he was able to grab a ton of boards, and that was good to see. Vic finished with 21, 9, and 7, but it was just not a good day for the Pacers. I mean, Dylan, you have basically...
Yeah, they just didn't shoot well offensively. Yeah. On top of that, they only shot 41%, which on most nights will not equal a victory. I think this is just a good Portland team. I think we underestimated them a little bit coming into this game. Portland's been on fire of late. I think they're probably one of the best teams in the West right now, which is saying a lot. So it was a home game. I would have liked it a little bit closer of a contest, but I think it was just an off night, especially for the bench. So I think that's just things will come with time and fruition, so they can get in a rhythm. But I would like to see us face Portland again and see what would happen if we had a more of a cohesive bench performance.
Something that has killed the Pacers, and I'm going to continue to harp on throughout the season if it doesn't get fixed. 13 of 20 from the free throw line. The free throws, I'm only saying it because I saw it live in the Boston game too. Free throws kind of reared their ugly head. Thad missed a couple, but
in this game, Miles missed all of them.
Yeah, that's been a common theme so far this year, especially in the losses. Only 3 of them so far, so not too much to worry about, but got to hit your free throws. They're called free for a reason, I think. But Pacers dropped this one 103-93, dropped them to 4-3 on the year, but then they rebounded really well with
Literally.
I didn't even mean to make that pun, but oh my gosh, I'm trying to just recover my voice, and my throat is like, no, you're not going to talk today. But this was the Pacers' first nationally televised game of the year. On ESPN inside Madison Square Garden, they played the New York Knicks, obviously, and it was a Domantas Sabonis show.
More than, Domantas Sabonis for like the first 3 quarters, and then the fourth quarter belonged to Vic.
But boom, I got my words tangled up there for a second. Sabonis had 30 points on the night, career high, and as you mentioned, that's the big thing. 12 of 12 from the field.
One free throw.
Hey, I mean, he can't be 100% perfect. There has to be somewhere in there where he kind of struggled, or not struggled, but just did not.
Just one free throw, yeah.
We're not going to harp on him for that. Had 9 rebounds, also 2 blocks. He ended up fouling out, but I'm not going to buy into that. When you have 30 points and 9 boards, you can. And the most impressive thing, I think, this was only in 21 minutes.
Yeah,
was the most impressive thing.
I think he has the record now for the most. He has the least amount of minutes to a 30-point game in Pacers history. Surpassing that of I think it was Dunleavy and Reggie Miller. So
I don't know. I'm gonna hope.
I saw that. I saw it on one of the telecasts on FSN. So
I will hope or just assume that you're right because I'm not.
I'm fairly certain I'm right.
Yeah. As you mentioned, the fourth quarter kind of belonged to Vic, and he erupted for 24. Didn't erupt for 24 points in the fourth quarter, but finished the game with 24 points, 10 of 18. Struggled from behind the arc, 3 of 9, but
it's kind of been a theme throughout his last couple of games. Is struggle hold from beyond the arc and then until the fourth quarter.
He just likes to live in the fourth quarter, but he was 1 of 2 from the foul line, 6 boards. Thaddeus Young had a double-double, 13 points, 10 boards. So
and 1 big assist. The 1 assist, but that was the game-changing assist.
Yes. Do they credit him with an assist for that? Okay.
He has 1 assist. I'm assuming it was the pass to Vic in the corner at the end of the game.
Yeah, that basically sealed it for the Pacers because what Dylan was talking about, for those of you who didn't watch the game, we'll try and describe it the best we can. But
pretty much a Bojan air ball to a Thad Young assist that was almost out into the crowd to Vic on the corner for a 3. It was an air ball, and then Thad did a beautiful job of saving it, and not only saving it, but like as Dylan said, found Vic in the corner, kind of open, but Vic doesn't need much space to get his shot off, and was able to drill basically the dagger that sealed the game for the Pacers to win 107-101. I was disappointed that it was this close, but I'll take a win nonetheless. For the Knicks, Tim Hardaway had himself a night. Yeah.
37 points. And I thought Mitchell Robinson, wasn't he on the Celtics? I thought. Didn't they draft him? I don't know, but it's just a weird thing when I'm going through the box score. Big thing though, Alonzo Trier had 14 off the bench. Darian Dotson? Or whatever his name is. I was watching that late in the game and no idea who he is, but just like we're going to talk about with the Bulls coming up, a player stepped up for them. Noah Vonleh had 14, so Enes Kanter was held in check. Why?
Enes Kanter? Is that what you said?
I said cancer.
It sounded like you said Enos Cancer, which would have been, I would have given you credit regardless, but that.
I mean, I'm not a huge fan of him anyway to begin with, but why he's coming off the bench, I have no idea.
They're probably giving minutes to Robinson.
I would start Cantor.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm not the coach of the New York Knicks, and that's why they're 2-6, or was 2-6 after this game. This win for the Pacers made them 5-3.
There's also Vic's Reggie Miller type kind of appearance in Madison Square Garden.
Oh yeah, like we talk about this. I think we talked about it last week. Like every time someone goes to the Garden, either away or home, there's always usually a dominant 30, 40-point game from someone. And
this one was from Tim Hardaway.
It was, it was the coming out party for Tim Hardaway. He's kind of been like their go-to guy basically all season.
Go-to guy, really.
With Kristaps not playing at the current moment.
Yeah.
So Pacers shot 54%. You're going to do great things when you're shooting that high. 11-17, once again, the kind of free throws issue, and 6-20 from behind the arc. But thankfully they didn't need to shoot many threes, thankfully, because Sabonis just got whatever he wanted. He was bullying. It was whoever was on him. It was
that's probably Vonleh.
Cantor, sometimes Vonleh. Probably Mitchell Robinson every now and then. But his shots, if you would see a shot chart from him, it was basically all around the rim.
Yeah.
Like, we know he can make jumpers, obviously. But, once again, my voice is not cooperating with me. But most of his shots were, like, from 2 feet. And when he can get to the basket that easy, he's going to make them.
Yeah.
And resulted in a big night for Sabonis. So that win moved the Pacers to 5-3. And next, we're going to talk the Chicago Bulls game, which, once again, was a really close one. Much closer than we anticipated.
Oh, yeah.
I know that much. This was the coming out party for Adrian Blakeney. Blakeney.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if I butchered his last name. Not really, though. But you were able to...
I watched the first half.
Yeah.
You watched the second half.
Yeah, I was able to get the good half. I was actually at our men's basketball game and the exhibition, and thank you, Dylan, for live tweeting the first half. I know it wasn't the most fun.
Oh no, it was a struggle to get through the first quarter at least. The second quarter was a little bit better. We outscored them 38-21, but the first quarter we were outscored 37-22. It really all started with Wendell Carter. He was just making Miles Turner his. You know where I'm going to finish that sentence. He was getting anything he wanted at the basket. I won't put it entirely on Miles' fault. Thad Young had struggled really early on defensively. He wouldn't rotate onto whoever defender was rolling to the basket, which meant Miles had two guys to decide which one he had to try to cover. And if you're an NBA team, you know how to dish it out to the guy who's cutting. So Miles was always in the poor position defensively, which isn't his fault. But he redeemed himself. He was a very good offensively to start out. He had a couple mid-range shots. Him and Derek Collison were pretty much the offense for the first quarter. And then McMillan probably made the smartest decision, which he put the entire bench in with 5 minutes to go in the first quarter, which kind of gave us a jump start offensively, especially from Tyreek, who kind of is the jolt of the offense that we really needed. But we struggled first quarter. They just were hitting everything they took. But the law of averages is a wonderful, wonderful thing, and averaged out by the end of the first half.
Yeah, Pacers. Oh my God, my voice. They outscored the Bulls 27-22 in the third quarter. Then the Bulls made their run in the fourth quarter, and I was able to. I think I was able to watch the second half, and I was in awe of what Adrian Blakeney was doing. One, I think I tweeted out, "Who the hell is this kid?" Because I think we found our new maybe Pacers killer from the Bulls.
Sorry, Nick.
Yeah, Nikola Mirotic. watched our episodes last season, Nikola Mirotic, we deemed him the Pacers killer because he just, anytime he played the Pacers, just absolutely slaughtered them. But Adrian Blakeney,
he must have given him the crown as he traded to New Orleans.
But off the bench, he had 22 points, was 9 of 13 from the field, 3 of 5 from 3, and just kept the Bulls in this game all night long. Zach LaVine was really quiet. He had 20 points, but was 7 of 21, so good job by probably Vic. Vic was on him most of the night, so good job by Vic there. And yeah, what I loved most about this game, we got the win and everything, and it was nice, but the ball movement at the very end, on the very last sequence when Darren Collison hit what would ultimately be the game winner. They moved the ball around the wing, and Darren Collison, he could have taken the 3, but the defender jumped and he dribbled inside and took an easier 2-point shot for this. He played smart basketball. He could have taken a contested 3-point shot, but he decided to take the obvious and easier
higher
shot.
Percentage.
Yeah, higher. Well, I mean,
higher percentage shot of
yeah.
Like,
I mean, if in the NBA today, most people are like, "Oh, force them to take long twos." So, but good job for DC and stepping up and drilling that shot. Especially, I think on the other end, he gave up the game-tying basket or something like that. But we've kind of seen him come back a little bit after such a really slow start. He had 14 points in this one. Huge game for Miles Turner, like you mentioned, at 18 points, only 3 rebounds.
6 blocks.
But this, I believe, I was tweeting this second half, obviously, and I said, are we in Chicago or are we in Block City? Because I swear, between him, Thad only had 1 block, but it was such a huge block near the end.
I was saying, nothing bigger than
the very end.
Miles Turner swallowing Blakeney's shot.
I absolutely love that by Miles Turner. Just the awareness to kind of come out, and because he knows the time on the clock and they have to get off a quick shot, just to come over and basically all he had to do. He
volleyballed it.
Yeah, all he had to do was this. Just put his hands straight up, and there's no way he's getting the shot off. So that was 6 backpacks that were donated.
Yeah, Federal Credit Union's loving it.
Yeah. And what I love the most from it, did you get to see Quinn Buckner's call?
Oh yeah, I watched it.
The smothered chicken.
On that was a beautiful block. You talking about the Thad one?
Yeah.
He just high pointed that ball, and it was just.
And Quinn Buckner made just a beautiful call. It was like smothered chicken, and just I love Quinn Buckner as a color commentator. I'm biased, but I think the Pacers announcers are the best in the business.
Yeah.
But so the Pacers were able to pull out a 107-105 victory over the Chicago Bulls, and kind of like the next game, we didn't think it'd be this close. But
Chicago really had like an energy of nothing to lose kind of mentality. Which they like during the telecast they referenced the preseason game against the Chicago Bulls where the Bulls just killed the Pacers in like the third game. So they have an attitude where they just wanted to take it at the Pacers because they have nothing to lose. And that really worked for them in the first half. It's what probably kept it close because Lord knows they're missing a lot of pieces would have made... This team has a good foundation. It's just they're ravaged with injuries. Yeah,
so. When Lowry gets back, you have... Lowry, Wendell Carter, Zach LaVine.
And that's they can move Jabari to the bench, which bolsters that bench by a
That's a very nice young core that the Bulls have. So give it maybe 2, 3, 4 seasons, and the Bulls could be on the cusp of something really special. But now the game that I really want to get to, especially
in shut up for like 30 minutes.
But I was able to go, as I mentioned at the top of the show, to the Boston Celtics game last night, and what a game it was. I know, Dylan, like you were talking before.
I only caught the fourth quarter, so that's all I was able to see.
I mean, you caught the best part, though. Yeah. So, I mean, you mentioned it's only a regular season game, but, like, it's one of those instances where the atmosphere, it was a pretty good sellout, almost a sellout crowd.
It was a sellout crowd.
And the atmosphere inside that building, it felt like a playoff game. Only being this Pacers' only 10th game, but the atmosphere was electric in there. The team, and obviously helped it, the Pacers were playing such a high-profile team in the Celtics, but we all know what happened late. Pacers Twitter went into an absolute frenzy, as they should have.
That's a calm way of saying
I mean, as they should, because Vic just pulled another rabbit out of his hat, and I was up there in the rafters after Vic grabbed the rebound. I was yelling, timeout, 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 and I'm really glad that Nate decided to just let him play, because Quinn Buckner I was actually watching some of the play-by-play, and I've probably seen the Vic game-winning three now probably about 20 times now, just replaying it on my phone. But he made a great point. If Nate called a timeout, they probably would have been able to set up their defense. So Vic made a smart decision of just playing it. Obviously, they trust Vic.
Yeah.
I mean,
Trust your star.
Yeah. I will say, though, the Vic game winner was absolutely beautiful, but it wouldn't have been possible without the third quarter play of Tyreek Evans. Yeah. Tyreek Evans went off in the third quarter, and he finished the game, I believe, with 17 points, I believe.
Yeah, you're right.
And the third quarter, he was taking shots. I'm like, no, Tyreek, why? And then it went in, and I'm like, all right, because Tyreek put on a show. He had 17 points, 6 of 12, 3 huge threes. Sabonis had a nice game, 12 points, 5 of 8. TJ Leaf, I'm going to give huge credit to. TJ Leaf played a really, really good game. In only 11 minutes, he did.
You act like you're surprised.
I mean, we know we've been
the perennial rookie of the year.
We've been
up, you talking about?
We've been bashing TJ Leaf a lot, but he hit a huge three. He had a huge, I think a huge putback rebound or huge tip in. So that was good to see. Corey Joseph and Doug McDermott only combined for 1 point, but Corey Joseph did a really good job of locking down defensively. And I was telling Mark, who I went to the game with, he's a good friend of mine, and Dylan's he's like, oh, why is Corey Joseph out there? He's not good on offense. I'm like, we have him out there for defense because Corey Joseph knows he's the captain, I think, of the defense, or the captain of the bench on defense. I don't know what I'm saying, but nonetheless, the Pacers just pulled out a miraculous, I'm not going to say miraculous, but it was looking grim, especially after Kyrie hit just improbable, back-to-back improbable threes.
The naysayer to me, I saw Kyrie hit back-to-back threes. I'm like, oh, that's the dagger.
Yeah, I was up there too. I was like, probably over. But Kyrie hit the 2 back-to-back threes, kind of what he did in the finals against Klay Thompson. Basically, imagine that. And he hit that on back-to-back plays. Marcus Morris just killed the Pacers all night long. He was 4 of 6 from 3, 9 of 13. He was their leading scorer with 23. The Pacers did a really good job of holding. They didn't allow anyone really to explode for a huge amount of points. Gordon Hayward only had 4 points, had a terrible night shooting. Credit to, I believe it was Bogey. I couldn't tell.
I saw Bill Simmons was really pissed about Gordon Hayward. He was like, Gordon Hayward's just not taking good shots right now. He's like,
I did see that, yes. But Tatum had 14, Horford had 14, including a huge freaking dunk in the third quarter, I think, early in the fourth quarter. Almost, I can't remember. He put someone on poster, I can't remember. Kyrie had 18, not 8. 4 of 7 from 3, as we mentioned, those 2 huge threes. One over Darren Collison, then I think the other one may have been over Vic. Mm-hmm. But it was just a really fun game to go to, well worth the money that I spent. And the Pacers were able to claw out a 102-101 victory. And this was, you can kind of maybe say, a signature win.
Many were comparing this to the San Antonio win last year.
Yeah. I mean, it had that feel to it. when Vic kind of, we know obviously that was kind of basically the game that Vic emerged as the star for the Pacers, but we knew that this year, and everyone in the arena, as I voice crack, everyone knew who was getting the ball, and instead of Vic said, "To hell with the tie, I'm going for the win," and he hit it. And
you know this is his back-to-back game with bronchitis, so
yeah, that makes it even more. I think
I can't imagine
playing with bronchitis, let alone like we mentioned, this was a back-to-back.
This is bigger than Michael Jordan's flu game. I saw that on Twitter. I'm not going to take the credit for that.
But yeah, Vic is just stepping up huge. And what I found the best about Vic, you know how we talked about his free throw struggles, 8 of 8.
Yeah.
And he stepped up to the line before the game-winning 3 and nailed 2 clutch free throws to keep him in the game.
Yeah.
And then the Pacers got the defensive stop, and then that's when he hit the 3. So the Pacers, 19 of 25 from the free throw line, like I said, could make
better than previous games.
Could still make a bit more, but I'm not going to harp on that at all. And they were able to just grind out a victory. Is a freaking damn good game. Sorry for my language. I don't care really. But it was probably the best NBA game I've been to so far. And obviously, since they were able to win, that made it that much more sweeter. Yeah. So that moved the Pacers to 7-3. Currently third in the East behind only the Bucks and the Raptors, who are, I think, 8-1 and 8-2, I believe. But so they're moving up the rankings. So we're going to preview this week's games a little bit before we go. The Pacers start out on, Monday? Tomorrow? Yeah. Tomorrow versus the struggling Houston Rockets.
Never thought I'd say that.
I didn't either. They're 3-5 on the year. They are all three wins have came on the road for Houston, though. So be on the lookout for that. James Harden is being ruled out. Eric Gordon was day-to-day. So those are a few of the injuries for the Houston Rockets. But obviously,
no James Harden would be huge.
Yeah, I think Vic would be able to just eat alive who would they throw? Gerald Green, maybe?
Yes, yeah.
I don't know who exactly would be starting, but I think obviously you have to watch out for Chris Paul. That's going to be a huge... Even if James Harden's not playing, I may throw Vic on Chris Paul just for defensive purposes and maybe have Darren Collison guard Gerald Green. We'll see what Nate McMillan does with that. But obviously another person to watch is...
Carmelo.
I'm not thinking Carmelo. This Clint Capella. Why was I... I was not thinking of his name off the top of my head. Clint Capella, we know he's a rebounding monster. It's going to be a tough matchup for Miles. But since the Pacers are at home, I think they get a win against a struggling Rockets squad who just hasn't found their way just yet. The Melo era is not off to a good start.
Is it ever?
And I mean, when he was in Denver, but that basically was when he was in his prime. But and he had a couple good years in New York. But yeah, I'm gonna go and say they're riding the momentum from the Celtics game, and they're at home again. I'm gonna say they get it done this time. I think it'll be a close game. I think Clint Capella could maybe have a good game. Chris Paul is gonna get his. I think just kind of keep, like we've been talking about, keeping the other guys in check.
Yeah.
So
I will agree to the most part. I think it'll be a close game. I have a suspicion that they're going to be kind of caught off guard with the Boston game. They're going to be, I think they'll take that one a little bit serious, and then they won't forget how to play. They'll rest on their laurels a little bit and not take it to Houston immediately. But I think they'll get a little bit of wake-up call after the first half, and they'll come back, and I think they take this game at home, especially since it's at home. That's going to be a good thing, but it's good to get this Rockets team right now while they're suffering a lot of injuries and stuff like that, so we can get some good quality wins to look back when we're in March and we're going for playoff spots. So
yeah, that is a very good point. And Nate McMillan and I think Vic and those guys will hopefully know the Boston game is behind them now is a great win, but you have to move on and prepare for Carmelo Anthony, Chris Paul, and Clint Capella. Those guys can go for 30 on any night. Clint Capella could easily get 20 rebounds if he wanted to. So, both predicting a win there, but like you mentioned, I wouldn't be surprised if Houston comes out of the gates firing and the Pacers come out a little laxed and sluggish after such a emotional win against the Celtics. So, both predicting a win, but I think it's going to be
it'll be closer than people will give it credit for.
It'll probably a 5-6 point game maybe late. So the next game we're going to talk about is Philly. Oh, this game's going to be good. Is this game on ESPN?
Yeah,
it is. This is all 4 of our games against Philly.
This is Wednesday. So we get a day break between them.
Are on prime time.
Yeah.
So I really don't know what to think of the Sixers at the current moment. I mean, as it sits right now, I don't want the baseball standings. I want the NBA standings. I clicked on the wrong sport. The Sixers are 6-4, kind of just a game behind the Pacers right now.
Yeah.
Joel Embiid is already in mid-season form with drawing technicals. He got Andre Drummond ejected, I think, in a game last week.
Yeah.
And then,
it wasn't last week. It was yesterday.
No, he got Andre Drummond. This wasn't the first time they were.
Okay.
But I know he did pick up. I know what you're talking about. Yeah. He did pick up a tech, I think 1 minute into the game against the Pistons, and I got that notification on Bleacher Report, and I was not surprised one bit. So Pacers kind of have to be knowledgeable of that. Don't fall for his stupid antics that he likes to do.
I don't think we have anybody on the team that.
I don't either.
We don't have a Lance.
Yeah, the only person that I would have an issue with would be Lance, but let's hope that he's not able to draw one of these guys and cause him to get a stupid tech or ejection or whatever. Ben Simmons, obviously, we have to worry about. J.J. Redick as well. In this game,
Joel.
Yeah.
Joel, I was the main problem.
I was throwing him in there along with the other guys. I don't know. I want to say a win since it's at home.
I will say a win, too.
I'm going to say it's a very close win.
Yeah.
Because
I don't think any of these games will be a blowout.
I don't think they will either. Because we know the history with these couple games. They've been really close. Last year when we played them, I think 3 times. The games were close. And could have seen them in the playoffs, but we drew the Cavs.
Unfortunately.
So, yeah, but this game is on ESPN, like we mentioned. Sucks that I have to work. But
I'll watch it probably.
Yeah, I'll watch it after I get off. It starts at 8, so I should be able to watch it after I get off. Friday, the Pacers will travel to Miami to play the Miami Heat, who...
For the first time this year.
Yeah. Heat right now are 3-5, but they're kind of I don't want to say a terrible squad by any means.
They beat I'm sorry. They've beaten Portland.
Yeah, something the Pacers couldn't do, so.
Yeah, that was all thanks to Dwayne Wade, so.
Dane Wade. We're both messing up our words today.
It's Dwayne without the W. Sorry, I'm just going to shut up. You go ahead.
Coming into this game, the Heat will have played the Pistons on Monday and the Spurs on Wednesday, so kind of a tough little 2-game stretch there for them before they play the Pacers. This will be part of a 4-game home stretch for them, so it will be in Miami. I still think the Pacers are obviously a better team than the Heat, so I kind of hate to just keep projecting wins after win after win, but I think this is a nice little stretch that the Pacers could go on. And I think able to find a way against the Heat. Obviously, you have to deal with Hassan Whiteside. Goran Dragic is going to be another one to deal with.
They're all, by the way, Tyler Johnson, Dwayne Wade, and Goran Dragic are all day-to-day as of right now.
Oh, okay.
This game takes place 5 days from now, so I assume, unless something gets re-aggravated, those three will all be healthy.
Yeah.
But that's the injury news for the Heat.
Yeah, and thankfully, the injury news is nothing for the Pacers.
Yep,
The Pacers,
currently clean bill of health.
knock on wood, which we don't have. Oh, Dylan, yep, thanks for knocking on the door. Because now that I said that, something probably will happen. Let's hope not, though. But yeah, I'm going to probably predict a Pacers win again against the Heat. Heat, they're a good squad, but they're not as talented as the Pacers are. So I think they get the job done here with another win.
Yeah, I feel bad predicting 3 straight wins, but
I do. That's the way
that makes me feel like we're gonna lose 3 in a straight. So, hopefully that's not the case. But I don't think Miami should be, unless Josh Richardson, and I can see Josh Richardson and Hassan Whiteside having a nuclear style game and then just torturing us.
Yeah, let's hope not.
Yeah. So,
but
I hope for the best.
Yeah. So then Pacers they then play Houston again on Sunday, but we're not going to talk about that since we basically just
record before that game.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's been the Pacers week, and that is what the Pacers have on tap for this upcoming week. They play, as we mentioned.
Make it a 6-game win streak.
Hey, I think it's possible. The optimist in me is saying 2-1, maybe with that Philly game in there.
Yeah.
But since it's at home, I'm going to give the Pacers the benefit of the doubt and say they come out with a win. But, yeah, I'm going to go rest my voice for a little bit before we have to do more podcasts. But, yeah, that's all that we have for this week. As we said, we're going to go rest our voices we're going to try, at least. But we'll be back.
Was a Colts game.
Who do you guys play?
We don't have a Colts game, sorry. This is our bye week.
Oh, so you'll be fine then. You won't have to scream.
Yeah, I can rest my heart after having 2 close wins.
I may not, as we play the Packers tonight. That'll be a fun game to watch. But that's all we got for this week and this edition of the Pacers Pride Podcast. We'll be back here next Sunday recapping the games that we just previewed and talking about the next slot of games that the Pacers have. But until then, for Dylan Deanhart, I'm Cody Emerson. Go Pacers.